Let me ask you something. What makes a city memorable? Is it the skyline, the architecture, the landmarks that appear on postcards? Or is it something far less obvious? Maybe it's the park where children spend long summer afternoons, the cafe where friends meet so often that the staff already know their order, the library where someone discovers a passion that changes the course of their life. Or perhaps it's simply a street that feels so welcoming you choose to walk a little farther just to experience it. Because when we think about the cities we love, we rarely remember them as collections of buildings. We remember them through experiences, through routines, through moments that slowly become memories. And that's exactly what caught my attention about Oakridge Park. I'm Riff, and this is White Giraffe, exploring the places, ideas, and urban experiments shaping the cities of tomorrow. At first glance, Oakridge Park might look like another large urban development. A growing city needs housing, it needs jobs, it needs public amenities, it needs transportation. And Oakridge includes all of those things. But the more time you spend understanding the project, the clearer it becomes that this is about much more than replacing an aging shopping center. What is emerging here is an entirely new urban district. A place designed to bring together housing, culture, public life, commerce, mobility, and nature within a single connected environment. And perhaps that's what makes it so interesting. Located in the geographic center of Vancouver, the site spans 28 acres, nearly 8 city blocks. Opportunities like this are rare. Most cities spend decades adapting to decisions made in previous generations. Oakridge presented a chance to rethink one. What began as a conversation about the future of an existing shopping center gradually evolved into a much larger question. What should this land contribute to Vancouver over the next 100 years? Because at that point, the question is no longer what can be built here. The question becomes, what kind of city do we want to leave behind? And perhaps that was the moment Oakridge stopped being a project about buildings. The vision that emerged is the result of more than 15 years of planning, design development, public consultation, and collaboration. What took shape was not simply a redevelopment project, but a proposal for a new piece of city. Its significance was such that Oakridge became Vancouver's first municipal town center outside the downtown core, a recognition of the role it is expected to play in the long-term evolution of the city. The phrase most often associated with Oakridge is living city, and the more I learned about the project, the more that phrase seemed to fit. Because cities are living systems, they are shaped by the relationships between people and places, between neighborhoods and public spaces, between urban life and the natural environment. The success of a city isn't determined by the height of its buildings, it's determined by the quality of those relationships, and Oakridge appears to have been designed around that idea. More than 3,300 homes will be introduced here, including affordable housing and a diverse range of residential options. But housing alone doesn't create a community. People also need places to gather, learn, participate, and connect. That's why the project includes a major civic center, community facilities, childcare services, cultural venues, and what will become Vancouver's second largest public library. These may not be the elements that dominate architectural renderings, but they are often the places that shape the identity of a neighborhood for generations. The same thinking extends to the economic life of the district. New workplaces, businesses, services, and employment opportunities are being integrated into the project from the beginning. Because the most resilient urban environments are rarely defined by a single purpose. They succeed when different aspects of daily life exist side by side and support one another. And then there is the landscape, perhaps the most distinctive aspect of the entire project. A 9-acre public park integrated directly into the development itself. What makes this remarkable isn't simply its size, it's the role it plays. This is not a park sitting beside a collection of buildings. It is part of the structure of the place itself. Gardens, open lawns, gathering spaces, playgrounds, woodland areas, sports facilities, outdoor stages, and running paths are woven together into a continuous public landscape. Long before the shopping center existed, this area formed part of a natural ecosystem. As Vancouver expanded, much of that landscape disappeared beneath roads, parking lots, and urban development. Oakridge doesn't attempt to recreate the past. Instead, it explores a more relevant question for contemporary cities. How can nature become an essential part of a dense urban future? Not as decoration, not as leftover space, but as a fundamental component of city life. Connectivity is another defining feature of the project. Located directly above a major rapid transit station and connected to key transportation corridors, Oakridge links residents and visitors to downtown Vancouver, Vancouver International Airport, and communities throughout Metro Vancouver. This reflects a broader shift in urban thinking. Increasingly, successful cities are being designed around accessibility rather than distance, making it easier for people to participate in everyday urban life. Sustainability is equally embedded throughout the project. An innovative district energy system is expected to significantly reduce carbon emissions while supporting long-term environmental goals. But perhaps more importantly, sustainability here is understood in a broader sense, not only environmental but also social, cultural, and economic. A recognition that cities thrive when all of these systems work together. It's no surprise that Oakridge has attracted attention well beyond Vancouver. Even before completion, the project has received international recognition from organizations such as the Grand Prix du Design and the Architecture Master Prize. These honors acknowledge the vision, design quality, and ambition behind the project. They also reflect the interest Oakridge has generated within the global design and planning community. Yet perhaps the most interesting chapter of the story still lies ahead. Because while awards can recognize excellence in architecture, planning, and innovation, the long-term influence of a place is revealed over time through the experiences it creates, the communities it supports, and the role it ultimately plays in the life of the city. That story is still being written, and perhaps that's what makes Oakridge so fascinating. At its core, this is not a story about buildings. It's a story about possibility. About what can happen when a city chooses to think beyond individual projects and focus instead on the broader experience of urban life. Can growth and nature coexist? Can density strengthen a community? Can public space remain meaningful in increasingly complex cities? These questions extend far beyond Vancouver. In many ways, they are among the defining questions of our time. Whether Oakridge ultimately becomes one of Vancouver's great urban places remains to be seen. But it is already contributing something valuable to the conversation. A willingness to explore new possibilities. A willingness to experiment. And a belief that cities can continue to evolve while remaining deeply human. So let me leave you with one question. If your city had just one opportunity to reinvent an important piece of land, what would you create? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely love to hear your ideas. Because every city, before it's ever drawn on paper, first takes shape in the minds of its people. I'm Riff, and this is White Giraffe, exploring the places, ideas, and urban experiments shaping the cities of tomorrow.